Ah, time. It waits for no man. It heals all wounds. It flies. It is an illusion. It is the wisest counselor of all. But how do we use time to tell better, more engaging stories? First caveat. My brain and heart have been corrupted by the white, hetero love story. So I'm going to use clips from passe romantic dramedies to illuminate my points. Enjoy! The utilization and mastery of different modes of time are tools we have in the writing of great fiction. As readers, we are constantly interpreting and measuring the text for meaning, and one of the big clues is how the writing deals with time. Is it epic, expansive, covering generations? Is it finite, a flash moment? Is the present informed by the past? Are two things happening at the same time? Through reading, we continually time check, framing our understanding of a story as it situates itself in time. At a basic level, we are trying to grasp whether the span is short enough to be understood as a unit. Is it a story that takes place over a day, over a month or a year, a season, a summer? Something as short as a walk? Ah, classic time. So clear. And why? Because a natural border helps. Those minutes, hours, seasons, and years we've all come to understand. We also have that trusty bit of information from the beginning of the semester when we already talked about time. That's right, story time and discourse time. When we came to understand the relationship between summary and scene. As Burroway explains again, a summary covers a relatively long period of time in a relatively short compass, while a scene deals with, at length, a relatively short period of time. Our key tools for understanding fictional time are scene and summary. We are already attuned to how scenes can engage the reader with characterization, creating tension, and defining setting. But in understanding fictional time, scenes with dialogue, gesture, and sensory detail give readers an intimate rendition of an event. It keeps us close. As Sieber writes, we were there for the good parts. Here is a scene from Moonstruck, where Loretta, played by Cher, and Ronnie, played by Nicolas Cage, meet for the first time. Notice the rich dialogue, gestures, and sounds, and sensory detail. What a confrontation. You can feel the heat.
You're gonna marry my brother Johnny.
Yeah, would you like to go someplace so we could talk?
I have no life.
Excuse me?
I have no life. My brother Johnny took my life from me.
I don't understand you.
And now he's getting married. He has his. He's getting his. And he wants me to come. What is life?
You know, I didn't come here to upset you.
They say bread is life. And I bake bread, and I sweat and shovel this stinking dough in and out of this hot hole in the wall, and I should be so happy. Huh, sweetie? You want me to come to the wedding of my brother Johnny? Where's my wedding? Chrissy, over by the wall. Bring me the big knife.
No, Ronnie.
Bring me the big knife. I'm gonna cut my throat.
Maybe I should come back another time.
No, I want you to see this. I want you to watch me kill myself so you can tell my brother Johnny on his wedding day, okay? Chrissy, bring me the big knife!
I tell you, I won't do
Burroway reminded us that scenes signify turning points, mini crises, change. What happens in that steamy basement is a turning point for the whole movie and the beginning of their love story. Sometimes a scene contains little backstory, like the one we just watched, and has a marked immediacy relying heavily on economized dialogue and gestures to create a flash of a scene. Then there are other times when little bits of summary creep in, allowing us to see both what's happening now and the past.
You don't know nothing about it.
Look, you know, I was raised that a girl gets married young. I held out for love. I got married when I was 28. I met a man, I loved him, I married him. And then he wouldn't have a baby right away. And I said, no, that we should wait. And then he gets hit by a bus. So what do I got? I got no man, no baby, no nothing. You know, how did I know that that man was a gift I couldn't keep, my one chance at happiness?
As seen in this clip, summary can give us information, fill in a character's background and backstory, and let us understand motives. But summary is also used to express long time. Long time is the presentation of an extended time frame in a short period of time, especially through the rendering of habitual actions as if they were singular. It's often marked by the unsentimental evocations of nature, endless seasons, years passing. Check out sad fop Hugh Grant in this clip from Notting Hill, where he walks through a year and a half in about a minute.
Ain't no sunshine when she's gone, and this house just ain't no home anytime she goes away. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone, and this house just ain't no home anytime she goes away.
As we know, scene and summary are often intermixed. Check out this ending scene in When Harry Met Sally. Poor Harry is walking down an empty street on New Year's Eve and begins thinking back on all his interactions with Sally over the years, each one acting like a mini flashback. In those, he realizes all he has lost, and we return to scene in a smooth transition as he breaks into a sprint to find her.
Why not? What I'm saying is that men and women can't be friends because the sex part always gets in the way.
That's not true.
No man can be friends with a woman he finds attractive. He always wants to have sex with her.
What if they don't want to have sex with you?
Doesn't matter, because the sex thing is already out there, so the friendship is ultimately doomed, and that is the end of the story.
Well, I guess we're not going to be friends then.
Guess not.
It's too bad. 'Cause you were the only person that I knew in New York.
We return to scene in a smooth transition as he breaks into a sprint. He's looking off into the distance, thinking, and then movement again. And we end up in a scene that's dynamic, and the tension and the stakes are high. It's another mini crisis.
I'm sorry, Harry. I know it's New Year's Eve. I know you're feeling lonely, but you just can't show up here, tell me you love me, and expect that to make everything all right. It doesn't work this way.
Well, how does it work?
I don't know, but not this way.
How about this way? I love that you get cold when it's 71 degrees out. I love that it takes you an hour and a half to order a sandwich. I love that you get a little crinkle above your nose when you're looking at me like I'm nuts. I love that after I spend the day with you, I can still smell your perfume on my clothes. And I love that you are the last person I want to talk to before I go to sleep at night. And it's not because I'm lonely, and it's not because it's New Year's Eve. I came here tonight because when you realize you want to spend the rest of your life with somebody, you want the rest of your life to start as soon as possible.
When looking at When Harry Met Sally, you may think of it as an example of switchback time. There's zigzags back in time between then, now, and the future, all with an investment in the outcome. As Sieber states, any assumption or emotional certainty always has unanticipated corrections, both the character and the reader, and time shifts are needed to support this. Harry and Sally shift in time, and each time, unanticipated corrections happen in their opinion and perspective on each other until there's resolve. Now that we see how scenes and summary work together to help us understand fictional time, what are some of the different ways we can play with it in order to make our stories even more engaging? We've already discussed flashback time in a previous class, so we won't dwell on that here. Let's talk about slowed time. Whether slowed time is achieved through infolding or with very little infolding, the important thing is to slow down at the right time, a moment of profound longing, ethical conflict, or an act of real risk.
I couldn't share it with you. I couldn't hear your voice. Or laugh about it with you. I miss my wife.
In this "you had me at hello" scene in Jerry Maguire, it's as if things start to move in slow motion. We see everyone's glances, the length of time that it takes for those eyes to lock, the lips to get quivery, and those tears to start welling up. It tells us we are in a major moment for the story. Finally, let's talk about fabulous time. Here in the scene in Midnight in Paris, Pender, played by Owen Wilson, discusses his dilemma, his love dilemma, with Dali, Man Ray, and Buñuel. The laws of time and space in fabulous time do not operate according to the regular rules. In Midnight in Paris, in the daytime, Pender is navigating an engagement to someone he isn't sure he loves, and it's in the 21st century. At night, he gets into a car, and he goes back in time, and not in a time period that he could have ever lived in, but in a time period before he even existed. This scene brilliantly expresses the surreality of fabulous time.
Senor Buñuel.
Buñuel?
Si, Buñuel, Mr. Manley.
Man, Ray, my gosh.
Hello. This is Pender. Pender.
This is...
Pender.
Yes.
And I am Dali.
Dali, yes.
Si, you have to remember. Pender is in a perplexing situation.
It sounds so crazy to say. You guys are going to think I'm drunk, but I have to tell someone I'm from a different time, another era, the future. Okay, I come from the 2000th millennium to here. I get in a car and I slide through time.
Exactly correct. You inhabit two worlds. So far, I see nothing strange.
Well, yeah, you're surrealists, but I'm a normal guy. See, in one life, I'm engaged to marry a woman I love. At least I think I love her. Christ, I better love her. I'm marrying her.
The rhinoceros makes love by mounting the female. But is there difference in the beauty between two rhinoceroses?
There is another woman?
Adriana, yes. And very drawn to her. I find her, extremely alluring. The problem is that other men, great artists, geniuses, are also find her alluring, and she finds, them. So there's that. But
A man in love with a woman from a different era. I see a photograph.
I see a film.
I see an insurmountable problem.
I see a rhinoceros.